Out of all the emulators out there, Dolphin is considered one of the golden standards with its long history of development, wealth of features, and ability to play almost every GameCube and Wii game. But that's the key word, almost. There are games that are completely broken, and we will cover them all today. These are the most broken games on Dolphin Emulator. The first game we'll discuss is Active Life Magical Carnival for the Wii. Its main problem is a soft lock in the game's loading screen. However, this issue can be overcome if the CPU is underclocked at around 70%. Something interesting to note is that this game is part of the Active Life series, and other games such as Active Life Explorer and Active Life Outdoor Challenge work perfectly. This could mean that there's something that Magical Carnival has that the other games don't, or vice versa, that could explain the differing behavior. However, this reasoning should be taken with a pinch of salt because, unlike Magical Carnival, which was last tested 6 months ago at the time of recording, the other games in the series haven't been tested in around a year. For all that we know, all the games in the Active Life series are broken, but it hasn't been reported yet. Next up is bonus power saves for the GameCube, an unofficial release from Mattel. The issue with this game is that Dolphin shuts down when it tries to save to a memory card in a GCI folder. Strangely, if the game saves to a raw memory card, it works as it should. Perhaps a deeper dive in how Dolphin handles GCI files can show what's causing the problem. Another game that doesn't work properly is Diatomic, a WiiWare title released by Grendel Games. Like the previously mentioned Active Life Magical Carnival, Diatomic hangs after showing the developer logo. Also like Magical Carnival, this can be bypassed by underclocking, but this case is more extreme, needing around 50% of speed. It's worth noting that these two games are not the only ones that have this behavior. Is it possible then that they all share the same problem? Well, that though is just speculation. An interesting case comes via the Game Boy Player disc. This disc does seem to work, but because the Game Boy Player hardware is not emulated, it leads to an error message popping up. It would be reasonable to assume that if this peripheral were emulated, then the disc could be considered working properly. However, there is one additional problem. Dolphin does not need the Game Boy Player disc. As far as I can tell, the only function of the disc is to boot up the hardware. This is something that could be bypassed relatively easily when making the hardware emulation, which would make the feature accessible to everyone, not just to those who have the Game Boy Player ISO. If this is the case, then could you say that the Game Boy Player disc is emulated perfectly? You can debate that in the comments. Getting back to the games, we have Gormiti the Lords of Nature for the Wii. This is another game that hangs, showing a black screen after the logos. Unlike the other games though, the game can still be interacted with. However, it will be extremely difficult since you can't see anything. Another broken Wii game is Jerry Rice and Nidus's Dog Football. This game crashes after trying to load a stage to play the game. It seems that underclocking has not been tested, although given that this is a crash instead of a hang like the previous examples, it might not yield any results. Going back to unofficial releases, Max Drive for the GameCube, another Mattel product, also does not work properly. What's different between this and the other games is that although this game does crash, the crash is conditional to the settings and to the version used. A crash occurs if, while using a memory card with no save files, the start button is pressed while using Max Drive Pro, an enhanced version of Max Drive. Still, if the Memory Management Unit or MMU is disabled, there will be no crash, and if immediately present external frame buffer or immediately present XFB is enabled, then Max Drive Pro will hang instead of crashing. These behaviors could give a hint as to what the issue could be. One more game that doesn't work is a daring game for girls for the Wii. This game hangs after the initial Wii remote safety warning. It can be made to work using underclocking, but the game must run at an abysmal 6%, at least until the game progresses past the part where it hangs. Still, this is the lowest percent a game has to run for it to work. A utility that doesn't work properly is the Wii Channel USB flash optimization. As the name says, it is supposed to optimize 16GB USBs to install and patch the game Dragon Quest X. Though instead of that, it gives an error message and boots up the Wii menu instead. Given this channel is used for so little, it can be hard to diagnose what is wrong with this channel, though the error code that it does show could give a hint as to the issue. Another broken utility is the Wii System Transfer Channel. The purpose of this channel is to be able to transfer data from a Wii to a Wii U. Instead of doing that, the channel simply hangs on a screen that can range from a totally black screen to one that gives an error message like "an error has occurred" or "this software is incompatible." This is a major issue in trying to figure out why the program doesn't work. The error message, whenever they appear, are shown on the script that they don't give much relevant information as to what the problem actually is. This might mean that more advanced tools might be necessary to find the cause of these hangups. Finally, we have the Wii U menu, a channel that allows for players to go from the virtual Wii to the Wii U in actual hardware. In Dolphin, this channel doesn't work since the Wii U is not emulated. Worse for the program, Wii U emulation is outside the scope of this project. This then could be the one title that will be permanently broken. These are all the games that, as of March 2025, crash or hang either before booting or between boot up and startup. There are not many, and none of these can be considered popular, but that doesn't mean that they're not important. Every game is someone's first, and they should be able to experience them without having to worry about the games not working. Furthermore, emulation helps to study and preserve not only games, but features as well. Utilities like the USB flash optimization channel or the Wii system transfer channel might not be that special to many, but it is likely that in searching to repair them for Dolphin, we can discover more about how the Wii works. The developers of Dolphin Emulator have worked hard for us to get this amazing product. However, I would like to encourage them to take a look at these games and try to fix them. And if this message isn't just for them, but for all those who can give a hand. I don't know how to program, but I can show to everyone that there is something that needs fixing. Maybe you can do that too, or you can report bugs or even suggest new features. Whatever it is, I hope you will consider giving a hand. And if you can't do any of that, well, don't worry. By watching this video, you already have.